filed for divorce 7 days after I was diagnosed with cancer because he said he didn't sign up to be a nurse. 7 days. I was still learning how to say the word out loud without my voice breaking, and he was already packing. We'd been married 4 years. He was the person I called first when something good happened, and first when something bad happened. So when the doctor sat me down and said the word, he was the first person I told. I drove home shaking so hard I had to pull over twice. When I walked through the door, he was on the couch watching TV, and I said it as plainly as I could, because there was no gentle way to say it. I have cancer. He stared at me for a long time. Then, he asked what kind. Then he asked how bad. Then he asked how long treatment would take. Every question was about logistics. Not one was about me. A week later, he sat across from me at our kitchen table and said he was leaving. He said it would be too much, that he couldn't handle watching me go through it, that he loved me, but he didn't sign up for this, and he wasn't built to be a caretaker. I asked him what he thought marriage was. He said, not this. He moved out that weekend. I started chemotherapy alone. My oncologist had warned me during my first appointment. She said it gently, the way doctors deliver information they've delivered too many times. She said that statistically, when women get seriously ill, their male partners leave at significantly higher rates than the reverse. She said I should prepare for the possibility. I told her that wouldn't happen to me, that my husband loved me, that we were solid. She nodded and didn't argue, and I could tell she'd heard that before too. Treatment nearly killed me. There were nights I lay on the bathroom floor alone at 3 and with nothing left in my stomach and no one in the house. I lost my hair. I lost 20 pounds. I lost the ability to walk from my bed to the kitchen without sitting down twice. My mother drove 4 hours every weekend to sit with me during infusions because the person who promised to do that was somewhere else living a life that didn't include a sick wife. Every person in my support group who was married to a man had the same story. Every single one. Their husbands left when the diagnosis came. Some left quietly, some left loudly, some left with apologies, and some left with blame, but they all left. It was the first thing we had in common, and the last thing any of us wanted to share. In August, a year after diagnosis, my oncologist called me into her office. She pulled up my scans and pointed at the screen and said 3 words I'd stopped believing I'd ever hear. No evidence of disease. I sat in my car in the hospital parking lot and sobbed so hard the steering wheel was wet. Then I drove home to my empty house and celebrated alone because the person who should have been there had decided that my worst year wasn't worth attending. I don't know how he found out. Someone told him, a mutual friend, a family member, someone who thought they were helping. But within a week, his lawyer contacted mine. He wanted to withdraw the divorce application, call the whole thing off, come back, because I was better now. I read the filing twice. Then I called my lawyer and told her to block it. First time I'd heard his voice in over a year. He sounded confused, genuinely confused, like he couldn't understand why I wouldn't want him back now, that the inconvenient part was over. We can just stay married, he said. You're not sick anymore. Things can go back to normal. I laughed, not a happy laugh, the kind that comes out when something is so absurd, what your body doesn't know what else to do. Normal? You left me on a bathroom floor. You left me bald and vomiting and alone. You left me when keeping me alive required more effort than watching TV on the couch. And now that someone else did the hard part, you want to come back and enjoy the result? He stammered something about being scared, about not knowing how to handle it, about regretting it every day. You regret it because I survived, I said. If I hadn't, you would have told people you left because it was too painful to watch. You would have cried at my funeral and everyone would have felt sorry for you. He went quiet. I'm not your wife anymore, and I'm not dying. Both of those things happened without you. I hung up. He spent the next 2 years dragging the divorce through court, contesting everything, delaying filings, requesting extensions, doing everything he could to keep me legally tied to him because letting go meant admitting what he did. Yesterday, the court finalized it. 4.5 years after he walked out, the judge signed the papers, and I walked out of that courthouse into sunlight and took the deepest breath I've taken since the diagnosis. Last night, I slept 8 uninterrupted hours for the first time in years. No evidence of disease. No evidence of him. I'm planning a vacation for my 40th birthday. I got a new job I love. I have a body that fought for its life and one without the person who promised to fight beside it. He didn't sign up to be a nurse. Fine. I didn't sign up to be abandoned. But only one of us has to live with what we chose.